Well, impressive win last weekend. Do you feel that perhaps you're hitting real form at the right time?
Too early to say that. A great win, yeah, a great performance, and that's what we can do. So yeah, if we can take confidence from that, but this is a completely different game coming this weekend. But yeah, if we can carry on like that into the run-in, then we'll have a chance. But yeah, every game brings different challenges, so we have to sort of reboot slightly, because Brentford's going to be a tough game away. Maybe a different style of play, the way they play, different things for us to try and overcome. But we've had a good week. The confidence helps the training days, and the fact we've had a long week has helped preparation.
You go into the game a point off the playoffs. It's so close now. For the neutral, it's an exciting run-in. What's it like for a manager?
It's exciting. Maybe there's more nervousness than the neutral has, but yeah, I mean, I try and focus on ourselves. You get fed up trying to second guess other results. You can't, but you have to understand what's in front of you. And if we win a big portion of our games, we'll be in the playoffs. And the fact that we're in that position is great for the club, great for the squad that I've got, which has a lot of young players, and we've had some things to overcome this year. And I think where we are is good. But we can finish it off really well if we carry on the way we did on Saturday.
This game against Brentford is away. You've got another away game against Blackburn midweek. In fact, 5 of your last 8 games are away. Does that put you at a disadvantage at all?
We'll see. You know, I think we played some really good away performances this year, picked up some really good results. And it is what it is. That's what it is. You can stare at the running of every team. I have, and you can see what looks like a difficult game, what doesn't, and it means nothing. All we'll do is prepare game by game. Going away from home shouldn't scare us. If we bring our game, whether at Pride Park or away, we have the capabilities to win. In fact, sometimes it can help you. So I'm not nervous about that.
Looking at Brentford's recent form, is this a game you should be winning?
I wouldn't say that, because I think they're a dangerous team. Had a very good run of form in the middle of the season, which catapulted them up from the lower areas up towards the top areas, and obviously now they've had some difficult results somewhere in there. But the way they play, I'm very aware of the individuals, good individuals that can hurt you in attacking areas, particularly a system of playing that can be hard to get to grips with if you're not prepared. So I've focused a lot on them. I've watched a lot of them. The players are very aware. And it's not a game that we should win. It's a game that we have to go and be at our best to win.
How's your team looking? Have you got any fresh injuries?
No, we're all good. We're all good. We're as we were last week.
You had Mason Mount back last week. How important is that to have a player like him back for the running?
Yeah, hugely important. We missed him. There's no doubt. Players miss their teams miss their top players because of what they give, and he also, I think, rubs off on others. It's his first game back, so I think he'll get even better. And his energy and quality and brightness of play, finding balls between the lines, playing forward quickly, certainly sets the tone for us. And I think other players potentially up their game around him for that.
How good a player can he become?
I think he can become a top player, and that's quite a broad statement, but when I say that, he's already been in the England squad. I believe he'll go back to Chelsea and be a big player for Chelsea, which I know is his dream, and he'll play for his country, I hope, because he has all the attributes on pitch, and he certainly has them off pitch, and he's been a delight to work with, as have all the players this year, and the loan players, the young players. They're sponges, they're hungry, they want to learn, they want to train, they want to play, they love winning, they love scoring or defending or whatever it is, and that's been a real joy for me to work with.
There's been reports linking Leipzig over in Germany with interest in him. Do you not see him going abroad? Then you think he'll want to?
But that's his call. That's his call. It depends on how Chelsea see it, and how he sees it, and what's the best plan for him. You know. So I think what we can say is that the year he's had a great year, which has put him certainly one big step further up the ladder. So the choices will be good choices for him.
Another player who's been linked with a move to Germany earlier this season, Hudson-Odoi. We saw him.
I see the way you did that. You did that well.
We saw him making his first Premier League start last night. Good to see. Great to see.
Fantastic young player, incredible talent. We saw that in his England debut. I knew that already. And great to see him get the opportunity and show what he can do. I knew he would. There's loads more to come. And he needs the right work ethic. He needs to understand that, and I'm pretty sure he does. And with that, he's a serious player. I'm talking, I just said Mason's going to go on to so many things. Callum's exactly the same. So great to see him get his first start.
There's been lots of calls for him to make that start. Are you surprised it's taken this long?
Yeah, you can only ask the manager, his manager, that's the question for him, not me. But I know his talent, and I know he's going to be a big player. I know he'll be hungry to play. So after all the talk, performing like he did last night is the absolute answer. You do it on the pitch, and he had the opportunity to do that. He did it, and nobody's going to be surprised if he's playing more games coming up.
Sarri said last night he could become one of the best players in Europe. Do you go along with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And he has to work. Again, as I say, there's work to do to that, because when you look at the best players in Europe, there's some serious players out there. But in terms of what he can do, I've got absolutely no doubt with the natural talent that he has and the hunger. So let's hope, because we're seeing a very good young English player playing at an English team, doing well. It's great.
We also saw Phil Foden making his first Premier League start. Are you really encouraged by all these young players we're seeing coming through? Yeah, Phil Foden is another great young talent. Great to see him playing games. He looks so natural. You can see the player that he is already. He doesn't look out of place in a team that's already full of top players everywhere you look. So it's good. It's a great bunch that England got coming through, and I think there are more beneath that coming, and we know about the ones that are already in Gareth's squad, and I think it's testament to the FA, and I think the revolution that they had a good few years ago now certainly helps with the coaching that these young players have been getting. The success they're getting with their age groups for England only helps in how they become. Talking of England, moving on to another subject, but something they were involved with recently, and we have been seeing a negative in football, this issue of racism rearing its head again. There's been a lot of talk. Lukaku said recently England should have walked off the pitch. Other people talking about that as maybe a way to tackle it. Do you see that as a realistic option as a manager? Is that something you would consider, taking a team off? I wouldn't want to say it here, because I think you have to feel it on the day. So, but I understand why it's in the argument, without a doubt. I think there are many things to do around the game that can help stamp out racism. In fact, stamp out hate generally, because I think we can become focused on racism, and rightly so. But some of the things you hear now, the social media, how it's very easy to be very negative anyway if you don't like them because of their race, their religion, their look, their whatever. And it's gone far too far. And racism particularly, is something in football we have to really look at. What are the punishments? Are they strong enough? It seems not at the moment. And deal with it. And people are, and the players, top players now, are becoming very proactive with that, and that's good. Just quickly back onto yourselves, some positive news this week in terms of the finances, this deal that's been done with the stadium. As manager, how positive news has that been for you? Yeah, positive. It's not my absolute focus because of, here is, training and playing. But yeah, of course, to hear that the club is, the finances are good. We know that it's difficult for us, and when I say they're good, we know that we've been talking about the club finding investment, etc., to try and improve, and because we want to be competitive, and that's part of the picture. But yeah, the fact that the books are very balanced and it's all there and clear for everyone to see, because there's quite a lot of rumour and gossip that can be said about where clubs are at, and we're in an okay place. So it's how we move forward now is the important thing. Does that shape your thinking in terms of the summer and who you may want here at the club? Yeah, well, that's already been the conversation for us behind closed doors, because we lose a lot of players. We lose 7 players out of contract. We lose the loans. And there are some players, as we know, that are here that are out on loan that have not really contributed this year. So the squad looks short next year. And I don't want to be depressed about it, because I'm not, and it'll be a work we have to do. And at the moment, we're positive about trying to get into the playoffs and promotion, but there will be work to do, and of course the finances and what we can spend will be pretty pivotal. It's not the end story, it's how you work on the training ground and how you perform week in, week out, but of course the squad needs to be strong to stay competitive. Right.
Frank, you've talked about, for the neutral it's a great run-in, so many teams that are in the mix, and nervousness on your part. How important is it that you kind of keep the lid on that for yourself and for the team at this point? Yeah, it's important, because nervousness can affect you negatively, but if you've got a professional nervousness, if there's an edge, then I think that's good.
to understand the situation, to know the importance on every game, to feel like they're finals, and that we have to give everything, to feel like the group has to be particularly strong over the next month is a good thing. So I don't hide away from it with the players. I hope that nervous energy is good energy.
I was talking with Nico and going over the stats. They've been in the playoff mix here every year since 2014, so it's a familiar story for the team. How much of this is going to be about psychology off the pitch as much as what they're going to do on it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be about that. And you're right, the club's been in it, and some of the players, a big portion of the squad, have been in it, but I haven't been in it. A lot of the younger players we've got haven't been in it, so we hopefully have a nice balance of experience, even though if those experiences haven't been great, but also, as I say, myself and some of the younger players in the team, that this is all exciting. This is an absolute opportunity to try and do something special where the club hasn't managed to over 10 years. So yeah, again, it should all be used in a positive way. We're aware of the situation, and the reality is the games are in front of us. Can we go and win them?
Are you surprised at how tight it is and just how how far down it can go for the teams that can still make it up into that top six? Yeah,
yes and no. Having been in, played in the league now for virtually a season and knowing it well, I'm not surprised, because it does level out. There are strange results every week. Teams have good patches and bad patches. It's a very it's an endurance test of a season, so that it can level out to a degree. But I think you'll see the better teams where they should be, and I know 2 or 3 of the top teams have pulled away slightly, and I feel we are in that group just behind them, and we can improve even more. So yeah, that's up to us to make sure we're one of those teams that can find one of those last playoff spots.
I know you've already said you kind of focus on what you're doing, but Forest are in the mix, and that hasn't been the case since like 93, 94. That'll add an extra sort of frisson for the fans, I guess, as well. Yeah, maybe. I mean, Forest should be in a mix. They should be in a mix with the squad they've got. They recruited heavily in the summer. I think they've got good players, and they should be in there. Yeah, and it adds to the local spice in terms of rivalry. So yeah, but I'm not too concerned with that one. I'm more concerned with what we do, not against one team that are the local rivals. It's more what we do to try and get in those spots. How much confidence have you got in those young players? You've talked about the talent that you've got on here. As you say, they're fresh, they're excited, they perhaps won't be overawed by what's ahead of them. Yeah, I hope so, and because they're just hungry to do well. So of course, even if you're a lone player or a younger player, it helps everybody if we get in the playoffs, and if we were to get promoted, it changes everybody's lives. And when you're young, actually, sometimes you don't look at the what if the negative happens, you actually look at the positive. So that's good for us. We need to use that. And first and foremost, they're good players. They're very good young players who, over the course of a season, will have their little ups and downs, but the quality can't be denied in what they can do. So let's hope we get them on a good run. That's an obvious question. I mean, how much would it mean to you, first season here, first season in management? To make the playoffs? Make the playoffs, think about promotion. It would mean an incredible amount, and I'm proud of the career I had, but this would go right to the top and sit up there amongst some of the things I managed to do in my career, because it's been my first year as a manager. I've enjoyed every bit. It's been really tough, which it should be, being a manager of a club like this, but the achievement I would feel in terms of how the players should feel would be immense.